And here we are at When Miracles Speak Testimony Tuesday. We have
Hello,
Samantha and Dori.
everybody.
How are you, Samantha?
I'm good, Letitia. How are you?
I'm good. And how are you, Dori?
I'm doing very well today. Thank you.
Are you a little nervous?
Not too much.
Okay,
I'm
that's
here at
good.
home. I'm
Don't be.
comfy.
Yep.
Dory is a pro. Let me tell you, Dory is a pro. So we're not concerned at all. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and introduce Dory. Interestingly enough, I met Dory earlier this year. As a matter of fact, only a few weeks after I met Letitia. And Dory quickly captured my heart. I absolutely adore her. She's such a kind person. I've used essential oils for many, many years. I've always looked for the holistic healings and things like that because I'm not one to use medication for anything. And Dory is a doTERRA wellness advocate, and she is full of knowledge. And because this is a show where we talk a lot about health and wellness and miracles, I thought that, you know what, Dory Shackelford would be the perfect guest. So, Dory, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Welcome,
happy to
Dori.
be here.
So, Dory, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm lived in Northwest Ohio, worked for a family physician there since I just looked up, was from 2002. So I was at that office for about 15 years. And during that time, I was the office manager, and people would come in and get a prescription, and then they would go home, and a week or two later, they would call me. I was the office manager. I'm having side effects. And so they would get another prescription. Then after a while, I just thought, I just don't want to live my life that way when I get older. And fast forward several years, I was introduced to doTERRA. And
Wow,
it's just been a blessing ever since.
that's amazing.
And
So,
it's been 10 years now with doTERRA.
wow, 10 years. And what is it about doTERRA that, because 10 years that's a commitment. And there's
Mhm.
relationships that don't last 10 years.
Yeah.
So what is
Don't
it
last 10 minutes.
exactly? So what is it about doTERRA that that keeps you there?
Well, at first I started, my goal was just to purchase for myself, just going to use
Okay.
for me and my family. I bought a kit that had a little bit of everything because I just wasn't quite sure what I would needed. And as they said, it's best to have it on hand. Like sometimes you keep cough drops in your drawer, or you keep um, some different medicines at the house. Just what if? And
Right.
so I purchased a kit like that so I would have a few different items on hand. And as time went on, I found out that I would use them and they really worked. And I noticed I was going to the doctor less and less because I was actually treating myself. And,
Mm.
and don't get me wrong, you still need to go to your doctor. You still need to have all your annual checkups, all your blood work. Very important. But there's these just little things like when you get a tickle in your throat, I just roll on a roller bottle down my throat, and it's a blend called On Guard. And the next morning I wake up and it's gone. And I just thought, oh my
Wow.
gosh, this is just unbelievable. And then it just,
Mm.
I would tell people, then they're like, well, order me some. I'm like,
Right.
okay. Well, then after a while, you're running all over the place delivering things to people.
Yep.
And I thought, well, let me just see what this is all about. Let me delve a little bit deeper into the business side of it. And I thought, well, it was just so simple to switch over to be a wellness advocate. And then everybody else can just order for themselves and get all the benefits. But then they would ask me questions, what do I use this for? What do I use that for?
Yep.
And that's when I really delved into the educational side of it, because now they're coming at me with questions like big chronic illnesses. It's like, well, I don't know anybody that has that before. I've never
Mhm.
met anybody that has that. Of course, I've heard bits and pieces at the doctor's office, and I was still working there at the time, and I've heard
Okay, so you're still at the
there.
doctor's office while you're slinging the oils.
Yes, yeah,
I
yeah,
Was
like
that
that.
was
yeah.
that a conflict of interest?
Oh, very much so. Yes, because the people that would come in, his patients, and he would give them that second or third prescription. counteract the first side effect. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this for you and I have that for you, but I could not say a thing to them because, you know, that was the doctor's office. It was his business. It was not my business. So that part was so rough that I knew there's so many people I could help and I just couldn't. And it just really pulled at my heartstrings. And then 2018, doctor retired and I thought, there's my sign. This is meant to be my full-time job. And it went from there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that like, you're an amazing educator. And as people see over the next hour, that you are full of knowledge. Like your brain is constantly going, and I absolutely love that. So with, like you would mention different health issues or anything, has there ever been anything that, and I'm asking this because I already know the answer, but is there anything that you've dealt with health wise that was quite scary?
Oh yes. In 2018, when the doctor retired and I went full time with doTERRA, I was also diagnosed with melanoma on my chin. And it was just a little spot, just about no bigger than your pinky. And the doctor said, well, I said, it doesn't look quite right to me. And so, well, let's just monitor it. So I went back my next year for a checkup and I'm like, I think we really need to look at this. It was melanoma. Now, a year previously, I don't know if that waiting, had really caused it to grow into melanoma or not. But I was very fortunate. It was considered in situ, which means it was all self-contained.
Okay.
So they scooped out the initial part, took that out, tested it was melanoma. Then they had to go in and they did what was called a picture frame biopsy. So they took out all the way around it, the edge, just make sure it hadn't spread. And then I went back a third time and they scooped out the entire center. Wow. Now, at this point in time, I was probably at a hole probably about that big. And so then they had to take this part of my chin and move it over here to cover it. So that was 2 years of plastic surgery. Oh. And then at that point, we were already in the process of figuring out where we were going to move for my husband's retirement. We've been traveling down here to Florida for quite a bit. And we just kept on with the plans, it just felt like that's the way it was supposed to be. That's where our life was leading. And so at that 2-year mark of plastic surgery, I'm like, I don't care what I look like. I'm just done. I'm just over it. I'm done. And we moved and the surgeon was like, but I'm not done. He was a perfectionist.
Okay.
I thought, okay, I got these little scars here. You can't keep quiet while this heals. So, the skin stretches and everything. And I thought, you know what? I look in the mirror in the morning. I see it. The rest of the day, I don't see it. Everybody else does, but I don't see it. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I've never noticed.
I have a lot of people tell me that. Maybe it's because I get up close when I'm, checking things out every morning and just to make sure I'm not seeing a new spot or something. But
yeah, because you and I have had countless conversations and I've never noticed.
Yeah. And I do have the one cuts right here in the crease. So, that one's not visible, but it's like the one that comes down here that you can kind of see. And it's still, I've got scar tissue there. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So now while you were going through all that, did that affect your confidence?
Backtrack on that a minute. When I went into I think it was the final surgery, the one where they scooped everything out, I, your nerves are kicking in because they have to put me to sleep because it's on your face.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is always scary when they put you to sleep. You just never know. So I pulled out my roller bottle of Peace. And that's a blend.
I actually have some of that. I'm sorry. I actually have some Peace. Yes.
I love it. I sniffed that in the car 2 or 3 times. And I sniffed it before I went into the procedure and then gave it to my husband to take out because I didn't want to physically put it on me anywhere because I didn't want an interaction, but I sniffed it. And I'm just sitting there in 5 minutes. I'm just like, let's do this.
Wow.
Let's do it. I was so calm going into that procedure. It was just unbelievable.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And since then we have doTERRA has come out with adaptive roller blend, which is like Peace on steroids. So it's just heavy, potent, heavy duty. Anybody with any PTSD issues, that's the one that's going to help you a lot. I like the smell of it, but I'm not giving up my girl. I love peace.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
my favorite. And when anytime I have a panic attack, I feel like a little anxiety kicking in before I have to speak or whatever. And actually, this is a good thing with you girls. I haven't even put it on tonight.
Wow, that's awesome.
But
That's
it's
awesome.
still within 5 minutes, I'm getting that calming feeling, and I
Wow.
just can't believe they work that fast. They just still amaze
Yeah,
me to this day.
that's really good. So now I have to order adapted. So that was 2018. So 2 years worth of surgery. So yeah, did that. I can only imagine. And the reason why I ask if it affected your self-esteem is because, like with Tisha, I'm gonna ask you the same thing because I know for me, when I had surgery in 2019, and even when I had to go in for chemo in 2020 something, I have quite a few scars. And so certain things that I wear, I have scars on my neck, scars on my chest, and then I have a big one that goes from my sternum all the way down to my pelvis. And so, for the first couple of years, going to the beach was a thing for me, it was a struggle for me. Certain things that I wore because the scars, it was really like, it bothered me a lot. And so I can only imagine this being, on your chin. How did that affect you?
Yeah. I don't think that part was much affecting me, but it was changing my entire lifestyle because after I got all the surgery done, then my doctor's like, my dermatologist like, okay, when you go outside now, you need to put on sunscreen every 30 minutes. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay, that's going to be a challenge. I lived in Northwest Ohio. The sun's the sun wherever you're at. So I still have to go outside and do that. And everybody's like, well, why are you moving to Florida? I'm like, there's still sun there. It doesn't matter where I live. I'm going to have to deal with that. So
Yeah.
I found several companies that carry UPF clothing, Universal Protection Factor. And it's
Okay.
the clothing, it's not coated. It's just a very fine weave. And so even the top I'm wearing right now, this is UPF, and they make nicer looking clothes and stuff. So sometimes that was where my self-esteem was a little bit iffy for me because some of the clothes don't look normal as far
Okay.
as like being in Florida and wearing long sleeves and long pants
Yeah.
and hats. And
Yeah.
just so some of that was probably more what I worried about than what my face looked like.
Okay. Well, that's I
Yeah,
actually I like
because
that answer.
I do remember going into a dental appointment, a dermatology appointment, and the lady, one of the receptionists, she says, that fishing shirt is really nice. And I'm like, okay, that's not the look I was going for today.
Right.
Because some of the clothes had to come from Bass Pro Shops. Some of them had to come through different online places. So they do have like an outdoorsy vibe to them.
Okay.
But that's until the world wakes up and realizes that, we need some nicer clothes that keep us protected from the sun. That's what I have to wear. That's what I
Oh
choose to
my
wear.
God.
So I don't have to put on sunscreen every 30 minutes.
No, well, and you know what? I understand completely, and maybe that's something that you can. That sounds like a new business, Dory.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yep.
Tisha, I want to throw that question to you also about your self-esteem.
So, yeah, that was a major issue for me because like I couldn't hide my scars couldn't hide, even though technically I actually have another scar that nobody sees but me. And that's because when I had the second brain surgery, they had to take some fat. They didn't give me no tummy tuck, but they had to take some fat from down here. And so every now and again when I look, I'm like, oh yeah, they did, they did take it. But as far as my self-esteem was concerned, I already used to struggle with self-esteem. So imagine. Now I already noticed like the drooping and stuff before they actually removed the tumor. But once they removed it, and it was just kind of like they took all the nerves. The tumor had already crushed them, but they took all the nerves and the muscles. And it's just kind of like to look in your face. And what I realized concerning like me was the thing I dwelt on most, that's what people would dwell on. So it was
Yeah.
like I had to teach myself, if you don't focus on it, nobody else is going to focus on it. And
Mm.
so again, mine was a whole process. So my hair started coming out, the radiation, and then I cut it low, but I didn't cut it all off. And then I was paranoid because I was wearing the wraps and they looked it good, but then it
Yeah.
was like, because that's how self-esteem work. Like you
Yeah.
try to bandage it up, and
Oh
then it
yeah.
start talking even louder. It was like, so what happened if you're in public and this thing fall off your head, right?
Oh,
And so I
come
was
on.
like, wait, they're gonna see the patches, and it was like little patches everywhere. And so one of the best days of my life was in September of 2023, and I walked in there and I asked Simone, who is the owner of Cherry Blossom here in Leesburg, and I said, I need you to cut my hair. And I think she saw the look on my face and she was like, okay. She said, okay, nobody else came in the shop. She had somebody in there and she told me to come back. When I came back, nobody else came in. It was just like that day was highlighted for me because it was
Oh, I
such a
love that.
major thing. And I remember when she was cutting it, I actually went live and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I'm so pretty. And I said it
Oh
with such,
wow.
like, I don't even know.
Confidence. Like
It
you
just was
meant
like,
it.
yeah, and it was just like, oh my God, like how did I wait? And now you cannot tell me nothing. And it's just every now and again when I go to smile because this side is tight,
Mm-hmm.
is when it's really obvious. But other
Yeah.
than that, mm-mm.
Wow.
It took a while to get there. Now you got to talk to
Of course,
yourself,
of
but
course, of course. We got to
but
hype ourselves up because I've
right
seen.
after a
I,
while you can't just sit in that. If you sit in that
yeah.
too long, that's dangerous.
I
Yeah.
want to take a second and say hello to Madeline. She popped on. She said, "Hey guys, hi Madeline. Thanks
Hi,
Hi,
for tuning
Madeline.
in." Okay, so my next question for you, Dory. So after that, did you have were there ever any reoccurrences or anything, or was it just that time?
I just last year I had a squamous cell removed from my arm, so my body is still trying to grow cancer. So
Okay.
I'm in a major battle with that. I did have, luckily, insurance this time paid for genetic testing to be done.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went to Moffitt, and they tested me, and I have not inherited any cancer genes from my relatives, but it is sun induced. So
Um,
that's when I just, I'm all in, everything UPF. I even have special gloves that I wear. I wear sunglasses. There is a spot in my left eye. It's called a nevus, and it can turn into melanoma as well. And so
okay.
that has to be watched. So I have to wear sunglasses. The thing I think when we were talking about self confidence, to back up a minute, the thing that really bothers me is hat hair.
Oh,
When you're
when it's just a
a hat for
slide,
too long, and it's
yes.
like, oh my god, you just look like a drowned rat all the time. But it's just that's the thing that I can't get past yet. It's just
Yeah.
like I stopped doing makeup, because I would putting the sunscreen on. I'm like, just forget that. So I stopped doing that. I was okay with that. I'm dressing different than everybody else, but the hat hair still gets me.
So here's the thing. And I had to make sure that we said this in the last episode too. So, um, how did I say it, Letitia? This is not medical advice.
There you
Consult
go.
with your physician.
Yep. Yes.
Yes.
Um, this is for entertainment purposes only because I've seen too many things. Um, but this is what I want to say or ask because I've seen I've seen a lot of stories because I'm a big researcher. I'm a huge reader. I love watching videos and testimonies. I've seen miraculous healings because I'm one of those people. I do believe what the Bible says that God put everything on this earth for us to heal.
Yes.
That
Yes.
goes for herbs and everything, even with the oils. Like I have my peppermint oil sitting here. It comes from the peppermint leaf, which is a plant that God put on this earth for us, right? So there's so many ways to heal. So are there just say if there's someone that may be watching tonight or come back to watch this in the future. I know that one big thing, one big oil for the C word is frankincense.
Mhm.
So do you have a regimen or a protocol or anything that you actually use from doTERRA to help you?
Yes, yes. With frankincense, there are over 800 healing properties just in that single oil, and that oil has been there since the day of time. It's mentioned in the Bible, so
Yeah.
we've had it forever. So it's there for us. It's been provided for us all this time. We've just kind of forgotten about it over the years. But I do. At one point, I was taking 2 drops a day in a veggie capsule to help fight everything that was going on with my body. And now, and here's a new testimony for you. I have a roller bottle of frankincense, which it's with fractionated coconut oil and frankincense. So it's a little bit weaker and the cost is better. And I have been rolling it on my forehead. And without about a week or so after that, 2 little bumps appeared on my forehead. And I know when stuff erupts through your skin, that's your body trying to rid itself of
Yep.
things that should not be in there. So I thought, okay, I've pushed something out. Well,
Yeah.
it was there today when I went to the dermatologist, and she did freeze them off. She didn't think there were anything and froze them off. But on a side note to all this, and this I started this about 6 months ago, and can't say if it's true or not, but the coincidence is just like unreal. I had my eyes checked 6 months ago because of the eye nevus. I have to go every 6 months. My glasses were a 20/30. She's like, I'm sorry, I cannot get you 20/20 vision anymore. Your eyes are just getting worse. I've been in glasses since I was, I think, 5th grade. So it's, they're pretty thick. And I went in, I think it was maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday this past week. I have a new prescription for you, 20/20.
What?
So I have corrected my eyes somehow.
Yeah.
All I know that I've been doing was putting the frankincense on for a totally different thing in my
For a
body.
different reason. Yeah.
Yep. And we like to say essential oils have side effects. So did I have a side effect and get better vision?
Wow. Wow.
So it's
Wow.
just, that oil
Right.
800 healing properties. So maybe, and I went to my books right away and I'm like, okay, what does it say about eyes? What does it say about eyes? And I didn't see anything, but there's all 800 are not
Oh,
listed there.
Yeah.
well, right. Because you know what? When it comes to things like that, there's something that's was going around on TikTok for a while. Castor oil.
Yes.
A lot of people were putting castor oil on their lashes for them to grow and
Yeah.
their vision being corrected.
Yeah. I've talked to 2 ladies in the last 2 months that use a lot of castor oil, and I want to delve into that a bit more myself and how they can
Oh,
incorporate that with essential oils possibly to even get better results.
so I will say this. So if I could reach over, I'd ruin my little setup here. But I keep a bottle of castor oil by me all the time. So I was sick last week and just terrible cough. I had a fever. I'm a firm believer in don't get rid of the fever unless it's extremely high. If it's dangerous, that's different. But our bodies were created for that fever to work out whatever it needs to in our bodies. But the cough, I was like, no, this cough has got to go. And so I got castor oil. I got my handy dandy peppermint oil and I slathered it all over my chest because who's going to go buy some Vicks? I'm not. And so I just slathered myself with it and I wrapped myself up in a couple of blankets. And well, let me tell you, I slept like a baby. I didn't cough. I got through the whole night and slept comfortably. And then, because I'm also, I don't know if Tisha even knows this, I'm also a doTERRA wellness advocate. And so I noticed there's something going around the house and I was like, nope, let's get this under control. So I got out my AirX and I diffused that so that way that could help. So yeah, castor oil, I will not go without it in the house. I keep my doTERRA oils and castor oil and black seed oil in the house.
Yeah. And I love the blends. When you mentioned AirX, you're not just getting that one benefit from that one product in there. There's several different oils in those blends. And so you're just getting so many more benefits there. I love the blends.
Absolutely. Now, Tisha, you had some questions earlier for her about, go ahead.
So when people are listening to this, like they're like, "Oh, I got the oils at home. I got this, and I got them." And they're in there just mixing some stuff up together. There are some things that they have to do. Like when you said the frankincense oil, you mentioned it was mixed with
Mhm.
the coconut oil, because I think that's a lot of things that people don't quite understand is that you are supposed to have a base, because if you mix all this stuff, you can have a react, like all kind of stuff can happen. So let's go, like, can we go into details about that? Why is it important to have a base oil? What would you consider to be a good base oil to mix with the different blends to get what it is that you need?
Yes, yes. Um, the one that we like to use at doTERRA is called fractionated coconut oil. And the molecules are so minute that it goes into the skin very quickly. You can use your own coconut oil if you have it. You can use, and it's called a carrier oil. So at one point when I was first starting and I didn't have a lot of natural products at my house, when I told you I ordered those oils, and they said, well, you need to use a carrier oil with it to tone it down so it's doesn't burn your skin for some of the hot oils. All I had at my house was grapeseed oil that I cooked with, and I used that and it worked. So they just, anything you have, just make sure it's not baby oil, because baby oil will clog the pores. And our
Mm,
whole point is to keep the pores open so that all the toxins can come out of your body, um, you know, whatever way they can, whatever they want to. So, but you do need to be aware of that. We do have
yeah,
some oils, peppermint, oregano, like wintergreen. Those are hot oils. Cassia, they could leave red marks on your body. So
yeah,
that's why you do need to tone it down with a carrier oil. And I will say too that tonight everything that we are talking about is with doTERRA's brand only, because if you go to a box store and buy essential oils and use them the way we're telling you to tonight, I have so many horror stories to tell you,
mm,
because the essential oil world is not regulated. We are
no,
trying very hard to get that done. Um, there's just, they're adulterated. There could be, we found expired aspirin in bottles that say they're 100% pure oil. There has been found synthetic products in bottles that say they're 100% pure. And these companies are allowed to put one drop of pure oil in a bottle and say the entire bottle is pure. So
yeah.
that's how bad it is. So, when we're talking about doTERRA, we're talking to you about the top of the line, the best, what is best for your health and body. Um, so please be very careful of what you have at home and how you use it.
I like that you said that because you really do have to be careful. And I'll also point out that I know, like with doTERRA, certain oils can be very expensive. However, because I remember talking to someone before, they were asking about, I don't remember what it was, and I recommended something to them, and they were talking about the price, and they're like, "Well, I'll just go to Walmart and I'll get it." So, you're comparing maybe like a $30 bottle of peppermint oil from doTERRA, and you know what you're getting, to like a $5 bottle of peppermint oil from a big box store, where, like you said, it might be just one drop in there,
Mhm.
and who knows what other additives are in there,
Yeah, and they're
so
not
you
required. They're not. They don't have to list the other ingredients. That's the crazy
right,
thing. They do not have to list what's in there. And that
right.
was actually one of my horror stories. A lady was telling her coworker that she had some discomfort in her head, being compliant here, and she applied peppermint oil. And so the boss went home and stopped by the store on the way home, picked up some peppermint, put it on, came back to work the next day, and his face was all red. And she's like, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Well, I put peppermint on me, like you said. Did you dilute it?" "Yes." "Well, where did you get it from?" "The store." And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. I used doTERRA. What you used, we don't know what's in it, and look what it did to your face." So
My
it's just
goodness.
you wouldn't think you would have that much of a reaction. But again, you don't know what was put in there with however many drops of oil was in there. So
And then
And
that, like with you saying that, I'm starting to think like when we read the backs of our food labels and they'll say something like natural flavors, that
mhm,
could be 11 different things. Like you
yeah,
don't know what natural flavors mean. It could
Mhm.
literally be 11 different types of ingredients. So people who have food allergies and you're reading the labels and it don't say any other stuff that you're per se allergic to, but then you see natural flavors. That's not
yeah,
one flavor. That's not that's not one thing. That could be many things. And so I said that to say so because everybody want to know how to do something. That's just me. Like, how can you get it? So you say you have the terror, you use the terror. So let's say allergy season is coming up. I know this works because I've used it. I've used the terror oil. I have it with me now. When my vertigo was acting up really bad because of the tumors, I was putting it behind my ears, the one for balance. It was for vertigo, and I was putting it behind my ears, and it worked. Like hands down, it worked, and it also again calmed me. But since it's going to be like allergy season and things, and the seasons are changing, what is a combination? Which I know the answer to this, but what is a combination that they could use at home that will work? Again, this is not a pill, so don't be talking about when I took the extra strength allergy, it worked in 5 seconds. Again, it manipulated the system, but what is it really doing to
Right.
help you not have to go back to the store
yeah,
and get it or take it every 4 to 6 hours? And then now your insides are not acting right because you're inputting this stuff. So can you give
Toxic.
them a combination? And then I'm gonna type it down here.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I real quick, I like that you said that because that's what people don't realize when they try something natural for the first time. Oh, well, it didn't work. How much time did you give it to work? Because it's not made
Yeah.
to
Amen.
work that fast. It's healthier for you, so it's gonna take a little bit of time. Just like when people stop eating meat and they go vegan or vegetarian, and there's like, oh, I got sick. Yeah, because your body was purging all the trash, all the
Yep.
toxins.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's like,
go
oh, when
ahead.
the doctor gives you a prescription, 10 to 12 days. Usually a
But you
prescription is
have
10
to
to 12
take
days.
Yep.
So think
I
about
thank
that.
you.
You've just been given a natural prescription. You just purchased a natural prescription. But for the seasonal threats, lemon, lavender, and peppermint. Those are the three, some of the three basics that have been around a while. You can diffuse it. You can dilute it with fractionated coconut oil and put it on your skin, or you can take it internally. All three of those are good internally, and it is one. It hits us a lot. I think everybody's probably suffered from this for quite some time, and because it's so popular, DoTerra has actually created a capsule that has those three oils in it. It's called Try Ease.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wish I had my bottle next to me. That's what that yep. Yep.
And that's it.
That's
And
what I
I
use for
suffer
my
from that.
daughter.
I used to go twice a year. I would go to the doctor for sinusitis, and I would get an antibiotic. And then after, wouldn't even get that done, yeast infection. You got to get another antibiotic, or I got to
Mhm.
start buying acidophilus over the counter or something. And it's just the
Mhm.
cycle, twice a year, twice a year. Since I found essential oils, I take care of myself. I do like nature's antibiotic, if that's what you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, I don't get the yeast infection, and I'm usually have it out of my system in 3 days.
Wow.
And again, you don't
You
have to
gotta
keep.
clue in on your body. You have to listen to your body when it starts telling you. You get that post
Yeah.
nasal drip. You feel that something in your throat. Something's going on. Let me start doing it. Let me start doing my thing.
Mhm.
Right, because again, it's about prevention, right? You're
Yes.
trying to get to
Yeah.
that stage, and once your body gets used to the essential oils, like I told you guys, my son, he was having heart palpitations, and we took him to the hospital because we didn't know why, and come to find out, it was the sinus medication that he was taking. And I
Yeah.
didn't make this up. The doctor told me it's the sinus medication that he's taking. And she went to say he could take something else. But in my mind, why would I give this to my baby? So I
Right.
literally called a doTERRA rep, which is my friend here in Leesburg, and I said, Janet, this is what the doctor said. This what's wrong with my baby. What can I do? Her and oh my God, her friend, I cannot think of her name, that was in another state. They made it. They put something together for me in the little capsules and the big one. So my
Mhm.
baby could actually do better. And it was the lavender, the lavender, and the peppermint. and they were mixed together. And the first time he used it, it took maybe 30 to 45 minutes, but he started to see the relief. And now that's all we use. And we don't have to use it all the time. We don't have to use it every time the seasons change. And now when he does it, I put one on each side back here and a little bit on each side of his nose. Within 5 minutes, the symptoms are gone. And my son's allergy was like, you'll think he crying, something traumatic done happened, and it's not. And now we don't
the
have those.
allergies,
He doesn't have those episodes anymore. So I know you like people talk about essential oils, or real essential oils are expensive. But if you add up how many times you got to keep going to get these Tylenol, it's gonna weigh itself out. It's like,
absolutely.
yeah, it could be, or you could get this oil that's gonna last longer than these 30 capsules that you bought over here, because there, like, you got to outweigh how important your health is to you. Do you want it instantly? Well, you're gonna have to go back. Like, what are the side effects? Like, she was getting in medicine, but the side effect was a yeast infection. Or you can take these oils and we'll call it a day. You know, like, again, allow your body to build up to that, because it does take a minute. It does not happen overnight.
Yeah, because that 2-week process that I would go through is now down to 3 days. And by just using it for that, well, I do use lemon in my water quite a bit, but the bottles sometimes last me well over a year. So when you figure the cost in that way, you know, they really aren't that expensive. They're 100% pure. The bottle can actually be traced to the field and the farm that it came from. doTERRA has the capability that we know where our products come from.
You can't do that with your products in the grocery store. You have
absolutely not. You know, there's actually, I don't know if I told you ladies this, there's an app that my daughter got the whole family using. It's called the Yuka app, Yuka. And when we go to the store, we scan everything because it tells us on a scale of 0 to 100 how good or bad it is. Of course, 100 being great. It's a little difficult to find things that are that rank of 100, but it goes from like poor, bad, good, excellent, and it's amazing. And then it'll even tell you if it
do
ranks,
it again. What is it again? The
app? Yuka, Yuka. And if it's something that ranks poorly, it will tell you why it's poor. So it'll tell you if it has certain additives and what those additives can do to you, if they're carcinogens, if they're whatever the case may be, and then it'll give you a recommendation of whatever it is that you've scanned. Say it's shampoo. It'll tell you a recommendation of a much better shampoo that you can get that's not harmful to your body.
That's excellent.
So our shopping takes quite a bit of time because we scan everything. I scan our soap, I scan our cereals, which cereal at this point is nothing to get, you know. So, but my question.
We just noticed too that the words bioengineered are appearing on almost
everything.
Yes,
and even the vegan food now, vegan mayo from Hellman's. It says bioengineered ingredients. To me, that's all of them, because you're not saying somebody. You're telling me everything in this thing is bioengineered. So I literally got home and threw it in the garbage. Like, I was like,
I've never bought it only because I scanned it and it came back like a 0.
Yeah, it did. But grits, like, people eat grits all the time. Take your grits, flip them over, and watch it say bioengineered. M&Ms, chocolate, Skittles, all those things are bioengineered. And it's just kind of like, don't be saying, oh, well, we've been eating it all this time, because again, in the beginning, a lot of this stuff was not
there.
No. It was not on there. But once you know better, you do better. Like, for me,
that's the hopes. Wait, Tisha, that's the hopes. Because people could take all this information right now that we're saying, and they because I'm going to tell you. So at the doctor's office that I was working for, there's a guy that would come in, and he had quite a few issues, and he knew that eating meat and all this other stuff he was doing was causing it. And I told him, I said, why don't you just cut out the problem? You know, go to the source. And he said he'd rather die on a steak than live on a carrot. Yep. So that's the thing. People can literally be suffering they can know better but refuse to do better because it's that satisfaction that they get from whatever it is. If it's a burger or fried chicken or whatever, it's the satisfaction they get, and that's all that a lot of people care about these days is how it makes it feel. What's that? They get a dose of what is the word? What's the word
Yep,
that
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you
yeah,
mean.
I got it from a Lil Wayne song.
Like that instant, but it's that
You know what I'm
instant
talking about.
gratification.
It's not instant gratification. It's like a hormone. It's a chemical that goes off
Oh
in our
yeah.
brains.
Yeah.
That's just like you get so happy about it. And so that's really what it is. So people don't want to they don't care.
Kimberly say I gotta start doing better. Kimberly, we all gotta start. We
We
all gotta
all
start
do.
doing better.
Oh,
We all
my,
do.
my husband says dopamine.
Thank you.
That's
That's
it.
what it is.
That's it.
Thank you. That's the word.
Tell
It's
her
Thank
we
you,
said
Curtis.
thank you. That's it.
thank you
That's what
so
it
much. They
is.
get
Yeah.
a hit of dopamine, and it's so bad. And this just goes to show, just side note, because this goes to show how much in the world I was, because I learned a lot from rap songs. Lil Wayne taught me about dopamine. But yes, that's what happens. So Dori, let me ask you this, because I know the pushback I get from people even when I talk to them about eating healthy, because
Mhm.
that's the thing I'm always going to push is eating healthy, just
Yeah.
cleaning out your body. And I get so many, that comment that gentleman made about dying on a steak and living on a carrot. I get stuff like that all the time. What is it like? I have to only imagine that as you have doTERRA and everything, and you're educating people. I'm sure you've heard ignorant things before, but do you get the people that are just like, oh no, that's not true, you're a quack, or whatever the case may be?
Oh yeah, my husband, for example, I just use him again.
Oops.
when I first started using them, he called them my voodoo oils, and so it was about a good 2 years before he ever. He's probably going to come in here and have words with me. But doTERRA has an annual convention every year in September, and I wanted to go, and I asked him to go with me because it's all the way out to Salt Lake City. But once he got out there and he heard the doctors talk about the essential oils, he listened to the scientists and found out that a lot of this stuff is independent testing with the oils. So doTERRA is not even doing their own testing. It's all these other countries. They will buy, our companies will buy oils from every essential oil product they could find, and they're looking to see who they can rake over the coals, put it that way. doTERRA was always coming out on top. We're always 100% pure. Our lavender has been just, it's just amazing. And
I love
so
it.
I knew I was placed in the right place. When these were presented to me, I knew I was in the right place at the right time. And so that's what convinced him. It's like once he had to actually see it, and then they have microscopes and you can look in and see, how it affects the molecules in our body. And just even when you breathe in essential oils, they are in your bloodstream in 22 seconds. 22 seconds, these are benefiting your body. So,
Wow.
and so
That's
and then he started with the multivitamins with me. And every once in a while he'll have something going on, like a head discomfort or something, or what do you have for that? And it's just like, and I will, and with the sinus stuff, me using my oils, the lemon, lavender, peppermint, he wasn't always doing that. And after a while, he just kind of got tired of going to the doctor, because we would both get it. I'm like, okay, let's just start diffusing. We can diffuse it, and then we both benefit from it, because if you have it this week, chances are I may get it in a week or two, or vice versa. So let's just diffuse it, get the whole house, getting those toxins out of the house. And so he's full on board now.
That's awesome.
I
He's
love
won
it.
him
And
over.
the fact that you
It
guys
tends
are
to be a lot of
together,
the guys. They're just like,
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. So for
Yeah.
those people that are like looking and they're, because again, everybody's going to be skeptical, and I tell people that all the time. You can't have a white coat
I was in the
syndrome.
beginning too. I was skeptical too.
But the thing is, when they hand you a pill and they give you a prescription and you take it, you have no idea what's in it. All you know is that it's going to treat your symptoms. That's it. You don't know about the side effects, and then the doctors don't even know. They just giving it to you because this is what you say you have. But the person you got to ask what's going to happen is the pharmacist, because the pharmacist is supposed to know. Now you can't mix these two together because this will happen to this, or you start to get side effects, and now you went to the doctor for a headache, but now your shoulder bleeding. Like, I'm just dramatic because
Yeah.
you don't took this headache medication and now it's affecting this, but then you don't trust something as simple as
Yep.
an oil.
Mhm.
Like our minds are so distorted because it's like that seems too simple. Like
Right.
changing the way I eat help change my mood. That seems too simple. Like I got it. That's the thing. We gotta have a pill. Just to inhale some oil that gets into your stream within 20 seconds. Because I know for a fact, when my anxiety is high, I'll take peppermint oil or the lavender, but mainly the peppermint. For me, it's the peppermint, and it
Mhm.
calms me. Like, I'll take a shower, and then the steam and everything. And once I do that, it calms me. And it's just kind of like, I didn't have to take a pill. I didn't have to, and I'm not talking about babying. I'm talking about when my mom just way across the street, and I'm just like, I gotta run this back in. And then it's like it's an automatic thing. Now, in the beginning, it did not work that quick. It took a while, and then it was just kind of like, because without realizing it too, you can't be resistant to what's going to happen, because your mind will tell you this stuff ain't working, because you already going in there talking about
Yeah.
this stuff not working. So it's like your mind
For
needs to line up with your actions.
Yeah.
and for me, and Tisha, I'm big on words, so I gotta stop you real quick right there, because you
Okay,
said my, it's not yours. It's not your
that's
anxiety, friend.
true.
It's
That's
not
true.
your.
That's right. I like that. Correct me, friend.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
my
We're
anxiety.
not. Yeah, it's not yours. We're
This
not
don't
claiming
belong to
it.
me.
No, ma'am. But I'm just I'm very big on words. There's this book by Kenneth Hagin. It is the teeny tiniest little book, and it's called Words, and it's small but mighty. Like I'm a firm believer in words. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. We know that.
Mhm.
So you mentioned anxiety, feeling uneasy. So I have two that I use. Kind of it's a tag team it. Lavender, and Dori, you're gonna have to help me with this one.
Copaiba.
Copaiba.
Yeah.
I mix those two together. Boy, don't talk to me. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm great. Those are my two that I rubbed those together, and
Yeah.
all is well.
I tend to use Copaiba capsule soft gel and or a deep blue polyphenol capsule when I have some head tension. So I'm
Oh.
a big pill person. I don't do a lot of the mixing, because if
Hmm.
doTERRA's created it as a roller or as a capsule,
Yeah,
that's me. It saves me time. I just pop it in real quick. So
and
that's
I
what
do like
I
that.
use. I use those two.
I like that. I like that a lot. So, what do you feel? Because and I feel like I know the answer to this just because I have spent so much time with you, and and I see you with people. I see your love for people. I'm just gonna answer the question for you. Yeah, and then you can add on. You can tell me
Okay.
this is what I see, because there are people that are out there just to either make a quick buck, just to get their name out there, just to grow their following. They really just don't care.
Mhm.
And what drew me to you is you're genuine and you're kind, and you don't want to see people suffer.
No.
And so that's really what I love and appreciate about you, because you really are in this for people, and even when it comes to you educating, that shows through, like, think back. I'm sure that all of us have had that teacher in school that hated her job, and we knew she had no business being a teacher. But then on the opposite end, on the other extreme, I can tell you, I remember there was one teacher that I had. I loved going to school because I could tell that she loved us, her kids, um, and that's what I get from you. But you tell us the reason why you stay in this, and it's been 10 years, and you keep going, you keep educating.
Yeah. There's just we become a doTERRA family as wellness advocates, and we have our different team meetings and our conventions and different things like that. But all of our whole goal is to help others. And one of the things we like to say is we're changing the world one drop at a time. That's
I
doTERRA.
like that.
And
I
I
so
like
like
that.
that.
it's just,
I really like
it's
that.
been, it's just, I've always had this feeling to help people. It's just where I've been
Yeah.
guided to.
So if there's someone that's watching and they don't know where to start with what I like to call our essential oil arsenal. Like I even call it, like, as a matter of fact, you gifted me this bag and this is what all my oils are in.
That's
and
your
I
arsenal.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I tell my son the other day I needed something. I said, go get my medicine bag. For someone that wants to start their own medicine bag, what are the 3 oils you feel they should start with?
That's the basic ones, like Letitia said, lemon, lavender, peppermint. Those are like the 3 basic ones. They actually even sell them in a little kit just like that, because that's the basic where to start, the least expensive way to start. And there's just so many benefits. I mean, peppermint, I put out like a 2-page report on peppermint of all the different things that will help with. Lemon helps to detox the liver, detox the organs. So I put that in my water quite a bit. It makes excellent cookies as well. You can bake some really good lemon cookies. And then the lavender helps with sleep and calming, and that's very good with pets too. I'm working with someone right now, and her dog is having a rough time with the storms that we're having every day here in Florida. And we've just, she's taken a clothespin, and the dog wears a bandana, and clipped it to the clothespin with some lavender on it, and the dog is calming.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
a lot of we have some oils that we have an entire children's line that are mixed with fractionated coconut oil, and those are very good for dogs and cats too. And I'm also working with someone who has horses, and we're finding out a lot of the different oils are helping her horse as well. So,
Really?
Man.
it's
I
just
gotta ask, what's going on with the
the
horse?
benefits are just endless. We just have to keep opening dours everywhere.
Yeah, is the horse dealing with issues because this? What's going on with the horse?
There's anxiety, and the copaiba is helping. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you mentioned what the lemon does. You mentioned what the lavender does, and just what are a couple of things the peppermint does?
The peppermint, a wide range. With the head tension, you can put it. Peppermint brownies was another one. You can do that. A brownie mix, and then just add a couple drops of peppermint to it.
Wait a minute. You can't just stroll past that. You can't just be like peppermint brownie mix and you just stroll past that. Okay. Now how we came up with this combination, and what's gonna be the benefits besides me eating too many brownies? But let's keep going.
Well, you're just getting that peppermint benefit there, but the brownies are kind of iffy. But
Okay.
unless you're using dark chocolate.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds
peppermint,
good.
yeah.
Dark chocolate
What
and
I've used peppermint for lately is for ants. Ants that are coming in, I'm putting drops of peppermint by my door, and the ants do not like peppermint. So it's
I'm
just
glad you told
not
me this
all
story
for your body.
because
So I'm not using a bug spray, a toxic bug spray. I'm using some oil. So it's just, you replace so many things in your house with essential oils.
I also learned that peppermint oil keeps mice away.
Yep.
So, like in the wintertime, people have issues with mice running in. Where did I see? Someone lived like on a farm or somewhere, and they kept having mice come in during the winter. And peppermint oil keeps put the peppermint oil on cotton balls and tuck them around. Yeah.
That's what I did when we lived up north. We were on a 1-acre farm, and that's yeah, we had mice, and I used peppermint on the cotton balls.
Yeah.
when I tell you,
Yep.
see how God be working, because we just moved into like a new place. And so because I think it was just a bunch of trees here, the ants just pop up places. So my husband only got this stuff that has no smell to it at all. But I was still like, how safe is this? I mean, it killed the ants. But if I can use the peppermint oil, I'm gonna be dropping peppermint everywhere around my house. Because I mean, it's like I saw like 2 or 3 on my headboard. Well, I don't want to spray the stuff on my headboard because I don't know what's in it, so I sprayed it down, on the ground or whatever. But oh yeah, tonight I'm gonna be dropping some peppermint oil. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to.
And the spraying reminded me too. You can get a bottle of water because it's still our summertime. Bottle of water, put 2 or 3 drops of peppermint in a spray bottle, and make sure it's glass, ceramic, or stainless steel because essential oils will eat through plastic. Because
Okay.
plastic is a toxin, and that's what we're trying to get rid of. And you can spray it on you if you get a sunburn or after sun, and it cools you down. So you'd only want a little bit. That's why you're only using
Wow.
1 or 2 or 3 drops. But in that water, and it spray it on the back of your neck, your shoulders, and it's going to cool you down.
I actually, what that now that you mentioned that, so here's a way to really test if the oil is pure. I learned this from making my candles.
Okay.
I had no idea. I was making a big batch of candles. This is when I had first started making candles a few years ago. And I poured the fragrance oil into a red Solo cup. And I was like, okay, I measured it out and everything. I came back and it ate through the cup. And I was like, what just happened? And then that led me down a rabbit hole of more research. And I was like, oh, when the oil is pure, it eats through plastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a pure oil will never expire either. We are FDA compliant, so we will put an expiration date on our bottles, but pure essential oils never expire.
And another thing that Dori taught me is if on this, and Tisha, this is good for you to know, and anyone else watching, I love when Dori teaches me things. On the side of the bottle, if it says essential oil supplement, it means that you can take it internally.
Yep.
Really?
Yep, because a supplement is like a vitamin, so they use the same terminology. So it's on the oil bottle, supplement. So
now I gotta look and see if I say supplement.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you do because I think the lion's mane says because I do the lion mane mushrooms, and I think that it says supplement on that as well. So that kind of makes sense. Like,
right.
Okay, I'm gonna go check and see.
Yeah.
I
Again, we're trying to
lion's
be
mane.
very compliant, with the FDA. So whatever they want us to do, we do. But
I love that. I love that instead of just being out there going rogue, because I have heard some crazy things happen there. I don't remember the name of what was it? It's on Netflix. It's a docu-series, and each episode is about things that people use. It's called Unwell. And each episode is about things that people use to, that are supposed to be healthy for them. And there's one episode that's specifically on essential oils, and it talks about the different, because doTERRA is not the only oil company out there, but, it's the best.
yeah.
So they talk about different things that have happened. And, the thing also that people do, they go crazy. They are they're worse than drug pushers when it comes to some of these things. I saw a family I in this documentary where that's how they make their living. They have a whole YouTube channel. They got the husband, the wife, everybody's involved. And that's all they do is they slang doTERRA through YouTube all day. That's all they talk about. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're pushers out here. They're some real deal pushers. And that's why I say I like that Dori is genuine.
Yeah, I'm all
Not
about.
to say that other people aren't, but they've got a whole hustle.
Yeah. Not just me, but the entire doTERRA world. Education first. We want you to know what's going on or in your body, and it's very important because, like we talked about, things are misleading to us when we buy our food now. So it's very scary.
So Dori, we have 2 minutes left. It's 50. We've been in this 58 minutes, and it's been really, really good. How can anybody that's watching this get in contact? Now, I put your website in the comments.
Okay.
But how can they get in contact with you? How can they reach out? How can they learn more about essential oils? And what is something that you want to leave everybody with today, like something impactful or powerful that you just want to say?
Okay. I do want to say that doTERRA in Latin means gift of the earth. Just remember they've been there from the beginning of time. So this is not something new that's just been created. I love to help everybody I come in contact with. Instagram is Dori Shackelford. I have a private Facebook page called Stay Happy, Healthy, and Oiled. And I keep it private. So it's just all of us like-minded people can be there and learning about doTERRA. And my website is my.doterra.com/Dori Shackelford. And you can email me through that. And you can also send me, learn about all kinds of oils and products there too.
And what does a Terra mean again?
Gift of the earth.
That's it.
I love that. Dori,
Changing the world one drop at a time.
Is there, you know what, that's what I want to ask you. What is your favorite oil?
Oh gosh. It's very hard. Very hard. Probably my piece. Probably my blend piece.
I got that piece. Yeah, I got it.
That's got me through my rough times.
That's amazing.
Yep,
Well, Dori,
actually a blend.
that's good. I think you rubbed that on me at the International Women's Day. We had something going on. I see you often. I love that.
Yep. Had to get you through that day, and you did amazing.
Thank you.
And that's where I met Letitia.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Dori, for taking the time to sit down and educate our viewers and just for sharing yourself with us. I thank you so much for that. I pray that God continues to bless you with perfect health. And I pray that God continues to bless you through doTERRA. And I pray that you are able to reach the people that you're supposed to reach that really need to hear about this. I finally got my Instagram live working. It only took us 4 episodes. So I see everybody over there and I see the chat's been going off. And Letitia and I both want to thank everyone that has tuned in tonight, that's watched, that's participated. Hello to Kim. I've seen your messages pop up there. Thank you everyone for interacting. And we are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. when miracles speak. Anything closing, Tish?
No. I'm good. Like, you know how you have something so good, there's nothing that needs to be said. Like, we appreciate y'all for supporting us, for coming in and listening and being empowered. Like, anybody can encourage you, but not everybody's equipped to empower you. And we authentically want to empower you. So we thank you, Dori, for giving us the most valuable thing you possess, and that's your time.
Thank you both.
Your time,
I've enjoyed it very much. Yeah,
and
there just wasn't enough time. I have more to say. There's not enough time.
Oh, well, what you need to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there's just so much to educate on.
How about this? How about we have you back another time?
That would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, then let's do that. We're gonna have Dori back another time, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all have y'all questions.
Yep, as I was gonna say, just send the questions in so we'll have a good topic we can hone in on, and because we were all over the place tonight. So
yeah, right. I love that. Everyone got
some good places.
Everyone got to know you. So I also saw in the comments Miss Octavia. She is our guest for next Tuesday.
Oh,
yes.
So we're really excited for that. And as always, thank you everyone for watching. And this has been When Miracles Speak. I'm your host, Samantha.
And I'm your host, Letitia.
We'll see you next week, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.